Welcome to Conor's Crew, a podcast about positive people doing positive things. I'm Conor, and this show is all about speaking to people who take action and make the world a better place. Today's episode is with Luisa Hendry, the Scottish Geologist. She is passionate about making geology accessible and exciting for everyone. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, I am with Luisa Hendry today, the Scottish Geologist. Luisa, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about yourself and what got you interested in geology.
Okay, so I'm Luisa Hendry. I'm also known as Scottish Geologist. So when you put my name into Google, it now comes up with things related to Scottish geology and Scottish Geologist. It's dead mad because I never ever thought I'd be Googling my own name, right? Um, I'm a geologist by trade. I went to university to study geology back in the day between 2010 and 2015. But before that, when I was a wee kiddo, I used to love going down the beach and looking at rocks and picking rocks up and collecting them, right? But I didn't know that you could go study a degree in geology till I was in my fifth year at school. So by then I had picked all the wrong subjects. Like I had realised that, okay, I'm gonna need to try and get into university another way. And it was just all by accident. It happened. I decided to go to a university open day and with one of my exes, my first boyfriend at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you need to do something better than be a fashion designer. You have to do, because I wanted to be a fashion designer because I didn't know what else I was, good at. And I was really good at geography, right? And I loved the physical side of geography. And I went to this university open day, and there was like a stall full of rocks and that, and I was like, "Oh, I've always been interested in rocks." And it just kind of that's how it got me into actually studying the degree of geology. But then because I didn't have the hires, I had to go to college first for a year and do a HNC, and then I ended up in university like the year after that. So it wasn't the end of the world, even though I didn't have the hires or that. And I always say to people, it's never too late. See, if you picked all the wrong subjects and you don't have two side subjects or whatever, you can go do other things, and there's other ways into university, like to go study what you want to do, like in life and what you want to be. Like, don't give up just because you don't have the grades, right? So I did that. And then I worked in the engineering sector. So once I graduated in 2015, I went to the University of Glasgow, right? I can't remember if I've mentioned that. But I graduated in 2015 and I fell into the engineering sector. So I worked as an engineering geologist all the way through up to a senior engineering geologist, where I was technical manager on large, massive, big scale ground investigation projects in the UK. And I kind of left that career behind to go talk about rocks for a living. But I basically spent my career, like 9, 10 years in my career, on ground investigations across the UK. Before you build something like a road, railway, bridge, or construct something, you need to do at the boreholes and drill boreholes into the ground, right? So I spent a lot of time doing that. Well, not me actually doing the boreholes, but drillers drilling it, and you would look at what was there and look at the rocks, and then yeah, and then I like it just kind of this whole thing of talking about rocks and Scottish geologist came to me kind of not by accident. It was something I always wanted to do. Like I always like kind of had a dream where I wanted to make many videos about geology and put them online, and I felt like there wasn't enough out there about geology, especially Scotland's geology. We'll go on about that later, because we are so lucky to have what we have, right? And I just wanted to make videos about it just to promote the subject and also introduce the subject to a variety of different people, like online. It's not targeted at one set of people. It's targeted at all people. I want to promote geology and make it understandable for everyone, but also promote it so that more people come into the industry. Because I noticed that there's a decline. There's been a decline for a while. Hopefully, it's starting to go back up. But geology's just forgotten about, and that's kind of how it all started. I just accidentally, started making videos about it, and it went viral. And now I don't know how many followers, like over 600,000 or something.
A
On social
very
media.
large following. A very large following. It's amazing. And I really love what you said about about hires and the school results, how I think that's such a great message that
Yeah.
people who are doing their school exams, do your best, but it's not the be all and end all.
It's not the end of
Do
the
whatever
world,
you
you
want.
know.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean go
absolutely.
study, because you should still try your
Yeah.
best in school. But I mean, I was average at school. I just felt like they were more. I went to a shit school though, sorry. I went to like a crap
That's
school.
all right.
Uh, yeah, like I just felt like they were more interested in trying to get like really, 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 really smart people. There was only a few of them, like, through their exams. They didn't really care about anyone else. But depends on where you go on that. Like, it's not that they didn't care, but I just felt like I was a little bit lost in school, to be honest,
Yeah,
because they do put a lot of pressure on you when you're in school, and they're like, "Oh, you need to know what you want to do for the rest of your life." But nah, it's fine. You'll get there
absolutely.
eventually. So yeah.
To have yeah, have that much pressure at such a young age, it's really hard
Oh,
when you're at school for everyone that's at school. And knowing that whatever results you get, as long as it's all about the attitude. If you've got the right mindset and you're willing to work
yeah.
hard, that is more important than the raw knowledge, because you can learn stuff as time goes on, but if you've got the attitudes, that is so great. And then with
Okay.
with
So
with yeah, you can do anything. You can do anything.
yeah, totally. Yeah. It's all about your mindset.
100%,
And I really wanted
100%.
to talk about rocks, so
Yeah.
you know.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. And I agree with what you were saying about geology as a whole. I feel like geology in the present time is quite underrated and underappreciated. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely agree. Even look at your phone and that. See, if you didn't have geologists, you wouldn't have your phone or your
Yeah.
laptop, or you wouldn't be having this call right now. And people kind of forget about that. Like when you think about geology, you're like, oh, it's just rocks and that. But what do these rocks hold? They hold critical minerals and elements that allow us to move forward with the technologies that we have nowadays. It's like technology has advanced because of geology, and people just forget about that. We wouldn't have this technology if it wasn't for geology. So I kind of relate it into that as well. I know there's a lot of controversy and there's a lot of badness looked at, like when it comes to the oil and gas industry. I kind of stay away from talking about them, but obviously without
Mhm.
gas powers most of our homes still. It's probably one of the main energy sources, like in the
Yeah.
oil as well, frowned upon. And we're trying to move away and we're trying to transition into this greener, like renewable, better zero carbon, like transition. And for that to happen, you need geologists, like, because we're still gonna have to find these materials for it to allow it to happen, like, and to produce these technologies, like, moving forward. So geology is such an important subject and people don't realize it. It's also like, water as well. Like we find water through rocks, like in rocks and stuff like that. Like there's different rocks that will hold aquifers, different like water like systems and it's just
Yeah.
madness to me. I'm just like, I can't believe that geology is it's like been pushed out the way. It's like been forgotten about. It's not really on the TV as much. Like it's just kind of been taken, and they've not been promoting it as well as other subjects, but it's obviously the people have lost interest in it, or maybe it's been looked at as a bad subject because of oil and gas and the petroleum industry, and people have just been like,
Yeah.
oh god, I don't want to go study something like that, that's bad for the environment or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's trying to, I just wanted to try change how people view geology and looked at it, because it is cool and interesting. It's basically geology holds a history of our Earth. Like you can look at a rock and it'll tell you a story about the past environments, and if we can study that, and we have like done so, we can figure out what's going to happen in the next few million years or so. It's just amazing. Like right, like I just really like my
Absolutely.
subject. I'm a little bit passionate about it. Since I was at uni, I always used to say to myself, "I'm a passionate geologist." I like that word, yeah, and I still am. Like to this day. So yeah. It's
That's
underrated.
amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I really love what you said about the geology. It tells a story. You look at that rock, that tells a story of many, many years. And you can't
Millions a year.
yeah, millions, millions. You
Yeah.
can't ignore geology. It's all around us. So
It's
people
everywhere.
should be
That's
talking
why.
about it more. And that's why what you're doing is so amazing, because you're making people aware of geology and
Mhm.
hopefully getting people interested in it as well. Because the way you talk about it, you make it very, very accessible,
Yeah.
which is great.
I remember one of my exes says to me that if you want to start making videos about rocks, you're going to have to start speaking properly. And I was just like, am I doing that? No, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm going to be myself. And I found that because I am myself in my videos, that's what's pushed it and got it out there. Because if you were to just stand in front of the camera and just say something like, these rocks are, and talking a normal voice. That's not me. Like when I talk about rocks, I'm like, these rocks are millions of years old. Or do you want to know what that is? I'm going to tell you. And
Yeah.
people are just engaged straight away. And they're like, yes, tell me what this mountain's made up of. And I'm like, I will do. And I'm the same, like, I'm the same person as I am on my videos. And I think like that's probably what's helped it the most to go viral because I'm original. I've got that originality about me that when I do talk about rocks, people are like engaged just about straight away. And they're like, wow, okay. So yeah.
I think that's fantastic as well, and as a really good message to anyone that's wanting to take up something similar is to be themselves because their original selves. That is the best thing they can be. If there's no point trying to fake it or pretend. Try and make it something else. Just be being yourself and presenting it in that way. That is what's going to make it the most engaging and the
Yeah.
most accessible for everyone. And looking
Yeah.
at Scotland's geology, what is it about Scotland that makes its geology so amazing?
Well, we have just about everything going on in Scotland that's dead mad and people don't even realise it. Scotland actually is the birthplace for modern geology because you had this guy that used to cut about during the 1700s. Well, maybe not cut about, but like he used to, look into different things. His name was James Hutton, and this is kind of like where like the whole idea of time, like kind of developed from James Hutton and a few other scientists as well. So there's been like lots of different discoveries in Scotland, like that we've recognised within the rock record, and it's kind of like caused all of this like other stuff. It's just mental, right? There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. You can cut across Scotland 500 miles and come across all these different rock types and different fault lines and stuff, and it's just we are very lucky to have what we have compared to other countries. Like and it's just I just wanted to like make videos about different areas and locations across Scotland, like telling people about this because it is amazing what we have. So we have just about every single rock type here, and they're not too far away. Like you can drive a few hours and come across different geological terrains and different boundaries, like between the terrains, and just about everything's happened to us. At once upon a time, we were sitting in a rift valley. Once upon a time, there was a convergent plate boundary where there was mountains as high as the Himalayas. Like there's just so much going on. I honestly could go on and on about it for ages. Like, and I feel like maybe another day. Um,
Wow.
but there was once upon a time a straight slip plate boundary as well in Scotland, the
Oh,
Glen fault line that once upon a time moved. Like so we've had all sorts. We've had volcanism. Obviously there's nothing going on now. Everything that's at the surface is being brought up and uplifted
yeah.
and especially in the highlands we're looking at rocks sort of the roots of mountain chains that once belonged here. Like they're all metamorphosed rocks. They're very, very some of them are very high grade metamorphic rocks, and they represent like like the roots of like mountains that once belonged in Scotland. So you're just like, wow. And geologists, as a geologist, you'll go out and you'll read the rocks, and each rock tells you a story, as I said. So when you learn geology and you learn about how to read them, and that's what I like doing. I like teaching that, right? And I'll also do trips and stuff and take people on trips, and I like teaching people about it on trips and say that to them, listen, this rock's got garnets in them, and it's like that shows that it formed at high pressures and high temperatures within the crust. Like it's recrystallized because it's had so much pressure, and it's now all folded, like because it's had so much pressure from being in a convergent plate boundary. So when I start opening up and talking to people about rocks and start looking at the minerals and that, they're just like amazed, and they're like, what? Wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, right on your doorstep. Like people can be walking their dog across rocks that are up to 3 billion, 3.2 billion years old, like
Wow.
northeast Scotland and the Outer Hebrides, and not even realise it. And I'm like, yeah, that's all I say nice complex. It's a complicated set of rocks, but it's just about like it's that ancient, and it's been buried really, really deeply within the earth's crust that and then brought back up to the surface again through different processes over millions, billions of years, and you're just like, what? Like, wow. So we are so lucky to have what we have, and I just like promoting that in the way that I promote it. I don't just do the content, I also obviously do talks as well. um And when I do, it's always quite good to see how many people like, are interested in it, and how I've brought
Mhm.
this subject to life that was kind of just swept under the carpet forever. Not swept under the carpet, but maybe they just. I feel like a lot of like the people that do try to promote the subject, they'll still try target schools and stuff and promote it
Yeah.
like just to children and that, or they'll still try do it just through lectures and stuff, and they're not reaching people. But on social media, you can reach a really large audience, which is obviously what I've done.
Absolutely.
Most people are on their phone nowadays. Like, I mean, not everyone has social media. I get that. But most people are on their phones scrolling sometimes through TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, and also there's different age groups depending on what app you're on. And I just noticed I was like, there's something missing, and I'm going to actually start filling that gap and filling that niche and see where it goes. I didn't expect it to grow, by the way it did. Like, it went from, I remember in April 2023, I had 300 followers, and then I had 100,000 by the end of
Wow.
June, and I was like, oh my God, people like rocks, or they like me, or maybe, a combination of both. And I still to this day am so thankful for, everyone that follows me and everyone that, comes along on my trips and stuff, because that's, now what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And I just love it. Like, because I get to go out and teach people about rocks and talk about geology just about every day. So, yeah, well, not every day, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. It's really exploded. Everyone is
Mhm.
absolutely loving it, and you've got such a huge following now, and I think you absolutely have filled that gap. I'm definitely someone that spends too long scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, but when you
It's
see
just
a video that
yesterday, it
comes
was
up,
amazing.
yeah, well,
So that's like, I'll always ask people, what do you do? And it's such a variety of different like jobs and different people that study different things. And they're just like,
yeah,
I'm just interested in it because I've seen one of your videos. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, it shows you that it's reaching people that I never thought it would reach, So that's cool.
Well, that's
So
the
yeah,
best thing
from
about it.
there.
As you say, you can reach everyone with that. You can talk to children in schools or give a lecture, but with social media, you can reach everyone who's using it, and that's how you can get such a large following. So what what are some of your favorite places in Scotland?
Oh my God, there's too many. I'm always gonna say that like Isla Staffa is my
Yeah,
number one place, like in Scotland, just because of the basaltic columns that you can see there, and in Fingal's Cave. I don't know if you've ever been there yourself, but oh my God,
I've seen
it's
videos.
amazing. You've seen videos, right? You need to go in
Yeah,
person. But see these columns, people look at them and they're just like, wow, that's man-made. How the hell do you get rocks that form like that? And it's just, I love
yeah.
explaining it to people and saying to them, listen, it's just the way that it's cooled and contracted in its nature's way. It's going to fill the space in the way that it fills the space naturally. Is it's going to form these hexagons or nonagons, like 69-sided, like shapes to fill those gaps. Like, and it will form these columns, and it's just so cool. Like, so that like tells you a story. When you go to the Isle of Staffa, that's telling you a story about rocks that were at the surface, like that were erupting out of volcanoes 60 million years ago, like when we were splitting away from Greenland and America and that. Like, we were just kind of drifting away from them because you had the creation of the Atlantic Ocean, the Rift Valley was starting to rift apart, like, and it affected the west side of Scotland. So when you look at the Isle of Mull, the Isle of Skye, Ardnamurchan, the Isle of Arran, like they're all like volcanic islands. St Kilda's another one on the outside somewhere. I've never been to St Kilda, but I want to go. Like, like there's all these different volcanic islands, or mainly made up of,
Mm.
like, they've got a volcanic center, like a magma chamber, and they've got lavas that was spewed out during that period of time as well. And I just love taking people to them and explaining it. It's funny because I never actually thought as well that I would be running my own tour business and taking people out and meeting people at different locations across Scotland, talking to them about the rocks, because it just kind of came from the videos. And I thought, well, what can I do with this? How could I, educate people? I'm going to start my own little wee tour business. And I take people, like, I do trips obviously everywhere, just about, not everywhere, but, like, and I take them out and they just, like, they're so amazed at, like, what they can see and find, like, out and about, even if it's local to them. They're just like, wow, never knew I had volcanic rocks on my doorstep. I've always came down a walk here down the beach and just didn't realize that this stuff was there, and I just like it because it's people get really, really into it, and like they love
Absolutely.
it. So yeah, it's just developed into all sorts. So yeah.
That's fantastic. And when you're given those tours in person, um, w- what that reaction when people realize that they've got this amazing geology right on their doorstep, when you see that reaction, how does it make you feel to see people getting
What makes
excited
me
about
happy?
geology?
I remember I had this guy on some one of my tours, and when I was talking about how Scotland used to be at the equator during the Carboniferous period, which was 330 million years ago, he was so amazed. He was like, what, we used to be at the equator? And I was like, yeah, like we've drifted northwards as the continents drift apart and come
Yeah.
together. We've drifted northwards since the Carboniferous, well, since even like the Permian, not the Permian, the Cambrian period, which is 500 million years ago. And we've drifted northwards and we've ended up at the equator once upon a time. And now we're wait a minute, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no, I'm
It's
not
all
gonna
right.
sneeze. Sorry. But I was gonna sneeze, but it's went away. Probably because I've been talking. But we've drifted northwards in our position that we're in the day and then a wee bit over to the side. And people just like they're like, wow, you can tell that by looking at rocks. And I'm like, also there's been research and stuff done at universities, like and people that, lecture and do research, like they put together all of this stuff, like all the journals, the papers and that. And there's been a lot of stuff done and they date rocks and tells you a story and people can collate that data and put it together and then publish it and reading up on some of the areas. There's some places that I've been to and I just didn't realize that you know, these rocks were here or these things were here. There's a few other, like, actually, like, the other favorite places I have are probably, like, up in the Isle of Lewis. There's so many, though, like, in Hannes, where you have some of the oldest rocks, or up near, like, Durness. Like, there's beaches in Durness that are absolutely stunning and have some of the oldest rocks on them as well. And I just love going there and seeing this tropical landscape, but it's freezing, right? But you've got the tropical beaches and then you've got these rocks that are pink and white and grey and they're all folded and all over the place and you're just like,
Oh,
oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, it's mad. Like we're so lucky to have what we have.
yeah. We're incredibly lucky being here in Scotland. As you said, we've got everything throughout the entire country. You will see absolutely everything. And looking into the future, where do you see geology going in sort of the next 5, 10 years? Do you see it growing?
I'm hoping so, yeah. I really hope that it does grow, like, and I'm hoping that, like, obviously, with the continuation of me promoting it, especially in Scotland. Like I hope that like the people recognise it more, like and are aware of it and actually realise that in Scotland we have so much to offer when it comes to geology. So yeah, I hope as well that it does make a difference to the number of people that come and study a degree across the world because I reach a worldwide audience and maybe even if it isn't just targeted like towards a younger like generation, it's also targeted towards the middle and the older generations as
Yes.
well. They might be showing their grandchildren or their children my videos, and that would, inspire a younger like last year lad like to like come
Definitely.
into like geology and study it as a career. So I'm hoping it does make a difference. Obviously, geology is such an important subject. Like, and as we move forward, like from transitioning, like from using fossil fuels into like renewables and hydro, power and
Yeah.
all the other stuff, like we do need geologists to find these like minerals within the ground, like and explore the ground. And even in Northeast Scotland, we're so lucky to actually
Oh,
like
yeah.
we've actually found some of the rock, like some of the rock stuff that way near Aberdeen. Oh my God. They are pretty cool and amazing. And I think they've now recognised through technology and through like different geological research projects and different like other where other places have been explored and discovered, they've got a better understanding of some of the areas like where they found really nice, cool, critical minerals in the past in different areas across the world that they're actually starting to use those techniques and innovations like in Scotland, like to try figure out like what's going on like in the rocks underneath our feet in northeast Scotland, like especially near Aberdeen, because you've got companies that are starting to explore the rocks up there, and that can help us transition. And it can, these minerals could like, be great because then we're not importing the minerals from other countries. We can use our own, like, But again, there's like a lot of
Absolutely.
controversy about it. So it's one of those things. Not everyone's going to be happy with what you're
Yeah.
doing, like with the ground and stuff. But how do we? You can't. The thing is, people don't realize and understand this, and it's probably the way that it's communicated as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way that we live nowadays is everyone's either gonna, have a phone or whatever or technology that uses these minerals, or you have a car that runs on petrol fuel, like which is
Yeah.
obviously from oil. You're wearing oil if you're wearing polyester. Like
Yes.
we're trying to be more sustainable, and we're trying to think in a way like if we try and educate people in a way that where they are aware of that, and they try to cut down their waste, or they try to cut down how much polyester they wear, then it makes a difference. But it ties in with climate and climate change and
Yeah.
stuff as well, because that's also geology and geography. So
Mm.
it's one of these things where we're trying to push forward and move into this transition, and even looking at places in the North Sea for carbon storage. Like there's all this research that's been doing geothermal energy as well, like within some of the rocks in Scotland might be possible. It just needs some research and the time. It's not going to happen overnight like that. We're slowly
Yeah.
transitioning. It's just going to take some time. So that's why geologists are important as well, because we need them to try and figure out what the best thing to do is, like moving forwards, like to work with engineers and stuff, and yeah, reach eventually what the government want, which I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't follow politics, net zero. I'm like, yeah, like, so it's one of those. Yeah.
Well,
Big one.
100%. Absolutely. And I think, as you say, geologists are so important. We need geologists in the world. And even, as we're moving to a sustainable future, we can only move
Mhm.
towards that future if all of us are educated and
Yeah,
informed
that as well.
about the world around us. So
Yeah.
geology is everyone's business. Everyone should be interested in it. And
Oh yeah,
if
definitely.
there's people listening today who are thinking, oh, I'd love to get into geology. I'd really love to get involved. What advice would you give them?
Oh, I'd definitely say like if you're interested in geology, then definitely come along and come on one of my trips. But
Yeah.
no, like and watch my videos. But there's so much more online, like so much stuff that you can go and look at and research. And if you do want to do a career in geology, then there's different universities across Scotland and England and across the world that offer geology as a subject. I don't actually know if the what one you're at Dundee, aren't you? I don't know if
Yeah.
that offers geology. You know that.
I'm not sure.
But I need to check that. But like obviously Aberdeen, like they were really, they were known as the petroleum geology capital.
Okay.
Like one of their master's degrees in petroleum geology was really popular back in the day. But also because there's less jobs in oil and gas, and there's more jobs in energy and renewables and stuff like that. Like it's now changed, so now they're going to be hopefully the capital for all that stuff instead. But yeah, like I'd definitely recommend checking out if someone wants to go study geology. Like they don't offer geology in schools, unfortunately, like but
Mm.
they offer still geography. So yeah, do geography.
Yeah.
Check out like different universities and what you need to get into those universities for geology, and then yeah, like apply and go forward with that. And they're now starting to recognise that maybe we should start offering apprenticeships within geology and geoscience. Like, so some companies are actually starting to put together apprenticeships where they'll put you through uni and they'll also pay you. So you might be at uni 3 days a week and then you'll work 2 days a week for the company and they'll pay you a salary and pay all your fees and stuff for you. I've recognised that and seen that on LinkedIn recently. And that's a good thing because it allows people that maybe might not want to study at university for 4 years or might actually want to work throughout it, like and gain experience as well as going to university. Like it's allowing them to do an apprenticeship instead. So there's now that option available for people that are interested, and there's loads of different jobs in geology. It's not just like what I did, engineering geology, but there's environmental geology, there's mining geology, there's exploration geology, there's like obviously petroleum geology. There's climate like stuff as well. There's all sorts of jobs that you can go into. There's research, like there's just it's mental. So yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
that's what I would recommend. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today, Louisa. Really, really appreciate your time and learning about geology today. Thank you so much for everything you do in geology. You're making a really positive difference to geology, making everyone aware to it, and you're making a positive change in the world. So thank you so much for everything you
Well,
do.
thank you for having me. It was nice chatting. Like I hope you guys
Pleasure.
enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Conor's Crew. I hope you enjoyed hearing Louisa's story.
and got inspired to do something positive in your own way. Remember, it only takes one person to make a difference. I'll see you next time with another guest, another story, and the same good energy. Take care.